the first to know Nsem-Pii TV.
Ebusia yama akwaba eba be the first to know Nsem-Pii TV so. Now about a month ago, IGP Yohonu echere Abronye edine call cells. Na judge bi etena Abronye case no so court. Emma no koda mu 2 weeks. Na judge ruling na omaye no ekokotu Idi Amin Mugabe nom edema ruling against Abronye. Emma Ghana Bar Association ebe kasetiaye. Lawyers akuku dama wo mayum be kasetiaye. Emma chire beti se lawyer no judge no wa resign. Yeti hu so se o masa ruling ni se odi pe promotions. E dey akọ high court as a judge. Abusafo nim se Endora President John Dramani Mahama swear in new high court judges. That's our lawyer here, your friend lawyer Bright Aqua Samuel Bright Aqua ni din eka ho. Na ekwa ko videos no abra ye swear ni in no na lawyer Paul Aqua tena Good Morning Ghana so and o say Mahama gu animu Ghana animu ase papa. Say lawyer Jaja o ma ruling say na yetima promote no e dey call high court na yenkɔhwɛ na yentie ensɛm a lawyer Paul e dey toja.
Samuel Bright Aqua.
His Lordship Justice Samuel Bright Aqua. Everyone thought that judgment, he was nearly 60. The way the Ghana Bar Association members of the bar, both on the NDC and MPP side, berated the judgment, his reference to the quotation, an unworthy quotation by Idi Amin, albeit he references to Robert Mugabe, sent the nation back and sent the development of democracy back many, many years. And initially when the judgment came out, it appeared that MPP, politically exposed lawyers to the MPP were those who were upset with it. And then came people, civil society actors like Oliver Vomaho, who felt that the judgment was not just bad, but such a person should never be on the bench in a democracy. And then Hamza Suhini, who is a member of the NDC legal team, speaking at the forum where Afenyo Makin was present, went very far and thought that when he heard the judgment, he was completely shocked that Ghana can still have such judges who are making these kinds of ruling. It was very bizarre and an embarrassment to all of us, to the public and to the judiciary in particular, and it should be an embarrassment to very senior judges. It appeared that people were satisfied that, after all, the guy is gone, he's retired, and okay, it's fine. He's retired as a Court of Appeal judge at age 60, let him go. And then that's ended the matter. The judges swearing in, I hear, was postponed or something like that until yesterday.
Was suspended indefinitely.
Was suspended indefinitely, and then yesterday it came back. Now, when the suspension of indefinite suspension was published, everyone thought that, it is because this judge was originally part of it before the Abronye case, and that's why he's been suspended indefinitely, so that they'll take him out. And in any case, he has retired. But then eyebrows were raised when it turned out that he had actually his name remained on the list, and that he's been elevated to the High Court where they retire at 65, and so he's less than 65, and so by age he's qualified. Many people felt that the discretion that is given to political authority must be looked at, not just in partisan lines, but must be looked at critically. This is building one of the biggest institutions and one of the most important, I should say, the most non-partisan institution in terms of the three arms of government. The executive is partisan, they are elected. The legislature is partisan, they are elected. The judiciary, in some countries, judiciary are elected. In Ghana, we decided that the judiciary should be that pillar that holds the two and holds the balance. And so everyone gets worried when you have judges who appear to have a political lens. In the days of Akufo-Addo, this case of unanimous FC came up, and no less a person than the Minister for National Security, Albert Kandapa, who used to work for Akufo-Addo in the Akufo-Addo's cabinet, even expressed concern that while he thinks that these judgments may not be wrong, the fact that when the cases go and they have a political twist is always 7-0, 7-0 is discomforting. He doesn't want his government to lose the case in court, but he was discomforted by what people call unanimous FC. And so you see that the Ghanaian person wants the judiciary to remain as that bulwark of democracy, where the partisan considerations are reduced to the barest minimum. Here is a judge who has demonstrated that apart from partisan considerations, he also can get personal sometimes. In this Abronye case, saying to the accused person that people are more equal than others. I mean, that kind of statement should never be made by a judge to an accused person. And a judge who makes this statement is then goes on retirement, he's called back from retirement and elevated to now become a member of the Superior Court of Judicature. That is a worrying signal, a particularly worrying signal. And I don't know how many people advise President Mahama to do this. I'm not sure how many people advise him to do this. And I don't know how many people were pushing for it. I don't know whether the judge himself did not feel that given all the circumstances, he should take a back step, reflect, and then see what the future holds, rather than come back on the bench as a member of the Superior Court of Judicature. I think this is really concerning. I'm guessing that the matter may even show up in the appointment committee hearings of the nominated Chief Justice, Justice Bafo-Boni. It's something we should all be worried about. Yes, this is democracy. There's MPP, there's NDC. But we really, at the end of the day, want to build a democracy for the future of Ghana. NDC wants to build a democracy. MPP wants to build a democracy. At each point, one time or the other, one person will be in government. And that's what we are operating. And people want people to vote for them. MPP want to dominate, NDC want to dominate. But some of these things, we should leave them out. Now, that's why in the book I talk about the role of the judiciary, how they have been such an important stabilizer to the democracy. Some of the decisions they've given, like 31st December, like the Chachuchi-Kata fast-track high court case, have helped to stabilize the democracy. Some of those judges who gave the rulings one way or the other may have had sentiments towards this government or that government. Look at the Auditor General issue. Akufo-Addo dismissed the Auditor General, and then the matter went to court, even though it was moot because the Auditor General had already been dismissed. The Supreme Court, that was also given the unanimous 7-0 for Akufo-Addo, held with people like Professor Kote on the bench. People like Professor Kote have a great relationship with Akufo-Addo for many years. But Professor Kote penned down a ruling that said that the president was wrong. You cannot do that. That is how the democracy works. They may have liked Akufo-Addo. Professor Kote may have liked Akufo-Addo, but when he came to rule on whether Akufo-Addo was right in removing Domelevo, he said, no, the president was wrong. So that is what we need. This kind of judgment that comes in this manner, delivered with such dose of heaviness, and every lawyer is upset with it. Every member of the Ghana Bar Association is upset with it. And then what do we hear? Wake up one day, oh, he's been elevated to be a member of the Superior Court of Judicature. My goodness, it is very serious.
But the Judicial Council, I'm sure, would have taken all of this into considerations before proposing him to be. No,
I'm guessing that they may have done that before the Abronye ruling. You see, this list may have been constructed before the Abronye ruling.
So you're saying that they could have reviewed it?
They certainly should. In fact, when they said that it had been suspended indefinitely, everyone applauded that, oh, it's because of the guy. Everyone said, oh, they don't want to take the guy out. Okay. That's why they are doing it, because what he did, really.
So then perhaps the question should be directed at the council, that what went into the decision to nominate him?
The question should be directed at all of us. Everywhere. It should be directed at all of us. Is that what you want?
Things that were said about him?
The same way we want Black Stars players to score goals. Asamoah Gyan, the former captain of the Black Stars, had demonstrated a certain sentimental attachment to MPP because of his mother. It doesn't mean that if he scores a goal, NDC doesn't celebrate. Yeah. And it doesn't mean that if he misses a goal, MPP don't say that you should have scored a goal, you should have done better.
Okay.
That's how we have to relate to such institutions that don't have to show partisan. Exactly, he may be NDC, but look, you cannot give this ruling and become a high court judge.
First of all, there are a few things that we need to straighten. The postponement of the ceremony, which should have taken place sometime last week, I believe, had nothing to do with the involvement of this particular judge. Indeed, the president had to travel to China at very short notice, and therefore there were a raft of activities that he had to reschedule. Indeed, one of them was a tour that he was scheduled to undertake at all state-owned media organizations. I was actually coordinating that. At the last minute, he told me that I had to postpone it because he had to leave. So it had nothing to do with this particular. It was just a matter of a clash of schedule. schedules, I beg your pardon. So that must be placed on record. There was nothing partisan about it. Number two, the allegation that this judge made the Abronye ruling based on some partisanship is most unfounded. In fact, if you read the ruling, he himself reiterated the fact that a similar activist.
No, I'm not saying he made a partisan. I'm not saying it was a bad.
If you let me land, yeah, but there were hints of accusations.
Oh, no, such a decision. But I simply couldn't. But this is why I disagree with leader. Many of you in your social studies class, you know the difference when it comes to separation of powers and the different arms of government. The judiciary is on its own. The executive is on its own. The legislature is on its own. And this government promised a reset. It may be difficult for many of you to agree that we are not interfering when it comes to the functions of the judiciary. But I can tell you with all sincerity and certainty, based on where I sit, that we are doing everything within our power not to interfere when it comes to the functions of the judiciary and how they go about their judgments. And so this judgment that was released yesterday is nothing but a poor decision emanating from one of our arms of government, which is the judiciary. The very reason why the National Democratic Congress, under His Excellency President John Evans Atta Mills, made a promise in opposition to reset the judiciary. And if you read the judgment fully, you see, we are having to deal with the effects of the bad political interventions of the last regime. In 8 months, we may not be able to cure all that, but we are doing our best. And this judgment is one of the effects of the last 8 years. If you read the judgment, the same judge alluded to the fact that in 2023, he remanded an MDC activist for insulting Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo as president of the Republic of Ghana. That same judge. And many of us in the NDC then condemned him for that action. It is that same judge who remanded the Wunmi presenter. I'm sure you guys have read it. So in his mind, what he did, and he was hailed under Nana Addo, he can be forgiven to think that this government will also hail him. So when I read the judgment, I saw it more as self-serving agenda to force down a consistency narrative down our throats to defend. And that is not why the NDC won power. The NDC did not win power to continue the perpetuation of illegality as far as our law courts are concerned.
Yesterday we were in court. This is what the judge said. Listen to him. He's a judge. Listen to him. He says, quote, accused person before the court is facing 2 charges of misdemeanor. Misdemeanor is a lesser offense, an offense that means nothing, really. If you are convicted, it's a fine, then you go home. This is important. He said, however, in this instant case, the court will not look at only the charges being misdemeanor, but will extend it to the position of the IGP to the country. That is the head of the police service. The words which came from the accused person is likely to put the security of the nation into disrepute. Then he goes further to worsen the matter. He says, it is always said that all persons are equal equal persons, but in practice, it is not so. Then he quotes George Orwell's satire, The Animal Farm. One of the commandments is that all men are equal, but some are equal than others. Translated into this case, all men are equal, but some are more equal than others. This is what the judge said. To remand Abronye into custody again. If you are a judge and you're remanding somebody into custody, what you are basically saying is that if the person is granted bail, he may not come to court for trial, or he would interfere in the investigation. The judge did not say this in his ruling. He says that the matter involves IGP. And all men are not the same. So if you are involved in a matter with somebody who is considered a big person in society, you go to jail. Such a dangerous precedent. If we don't talk about it, where would be our democracy? And ladies and gentlemen, I am privileged to have been part of ECOWAS Parliament. I have roamed through the sub-region. Ghana stands tall, but we can make it better.